Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Martin, and today we're watching The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, no less. So, first things first, as you might have guessed from previous videos, which you should absolutely go and watch, I'm a bit of a John Carpenter fan, and you won't be surprised to hear that I have seen this film. Not only have I seen this film, I've seen this film countless times. I don't really know how this is going to play off as a reaction as normal, but this is going to be more of a fan commentary, I suppose you could call. I'll be talking about all the bits about the film that I love and stuff as we play through the film, and you know, there's some moments in this film in particular that are always reaction worthy. Like there's stuff in here that is just good stuff. However, I do know there are some people who watch these videos who may not have seen the movie in question before, so I'm just saying this as a kind of, I might reveal something that's going to happen in the film before it happens, especially if there's some bits I want to talk about. Just bear that in mind if this is the first time you've ever seen this film, or if you've not seen the film at all, whatever the case may be. I have a theory about the story in this film, and I've seen people react to this film, I've seen people review this film, I've seen people do editorials on this film, and of all the people that I've watched, I've never seen them ever talk about this theory. So I'm going to talk about a theory I have about the film, about its ending, that I've never heard anyone else talk about, and I feel like there must be someone out there. There must be someone who's caught onto this thing as well as me. So I'm really hoping someone in the comments will say, I thought of that too, because that will make me feel less weird. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about this grand theory that no one else has ever spoken about for the sake of this video, even though I'm sure someone else has talked about it somewhere. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to get into this. John Carpenter's The Thing. So here's a debate we can have right off the top of the film. Was it a good idea or not to have this scene at the start? I'm trying to, just in case anyone's watching this who hasn't seen the film, there we go. So we get a shot of a spaceship right at the start of the film before we know anything. And I've gone backwards and forwards on this, whether I like that this is here or not. Like I know a lot of people who are dead fast against it would have been better had they not shown this at the start of the film at all. But I'd be interested to hear what other people have to say about it. This is fucking badass. This might be the best title reveal ever, even though it rips off the original film, and still to this day some people don't realize that this is a remake of a film from the 1950s, I believe. Maybe we'll do a reaction to that one day. Maybe. I've seen so many people react to this film and they're instantly on this, all over this dog. Like, that's the cutest dog they've ever seen in their life. Having watched the film now, you're like, fuck that dog. Kill it now. He is the worst shot. This guy. This guy is so bad. He should be enrolled in the Stormtrooper program. Right, everyone. My theory about the ending of this film involves this scene. So, everyone pay attention to what happens here, okay? I need you all to pay attention to how Kurt Russell behaves in this situation with this chess computer. Watch what he does here. Watch what he does here. Right? Everyone's got that, right? Everyone's taken note of what just happened in that scene. We'll circle back to this later. So it begins. It begins. Don't let the dog lick your face. This fucking idiot. He just gets from bad to worse, doesn't it? Why would you chase after it? Nope. What would you be thinking if you saw these idiots? So you can't even hit the dog. He hits the guy in the leg. I always love that shot. I was just walking past him. Still holding on to the whiskey. I never noticed that. He's still just holding on to it. This dog is incredible, though. Someone has to give this dog an award. If it didn't get one already, it does such a good job. I do like one of the criticisms about this film that I kind of disagree with, but I get where they're coming from, is that some of the characters don't feel as fleshed out as others, which it's fair, but there's a lot of people in here, and you couldn't give them all the time of day. But I feel like everyone is distinct enough from each other where you can sort of point them out.
Shit, Doc, I'll give you the lift. No problem.
We did not trust this guy. We didn't trust him flying anywhere.
Mac, get your gear on.
He looks up like, are you kidding me? You actually shitting. Look at this dog. It knows what it's doing. Like, they found the one dog in the world that is a thespian. There he is. Look at him. He knows what he's doing. That head tilt. Who is it in there? I mean, to me, it looks like the guy with sort of the big fro. Like, spoilers for later on in the film, the guy you think has a heart attack. That's who that seems like to me. I love how all of this stuff here is just subtly preparing you for the left turn that is coming not too far away. But I like how it all of this so effortlessly tells a story. Like, there's so much good visual storytelling going on in this scene that you might not need to do a prequel of the same name to explain how that hole got in the wall or how that axe got in the door. I feel like it might all kind of explain itself. This is fucking creepy. Creepy. Love how there's such a nice reveal for this. Like, you feel like, has he been killed? Did he just die? And then the horrific truth is revealed. Oh, it's unsettling. Like, look how deep into his neck he went. Like, he didn't just go with the wrists. I love how it just sort of hints at something horrific hiding in the snow. I don't get it. I don't know how animals don't express emotions in the same way a human does, and yet this dog finds a way. It finds a way of doing it. Like, you know it's up to no good. Look at that. Look at its face. At this point, I feel like if I was coming into this film fresh and they reveal that, I would sort of jump to, there's something otherworldly going on here, whether or not you saw a spaceship at the start of the film or not. It's so good. And the fucking slow focus into the face. Oh, so good.
Seem to be normal.
Yeah, that ain't normal, bud. That face, ugh. Like the sheer, like, pain.
Clark, will you put this mutt with the others where he belongs?
Look at him. Look at him. That guy. That guy looking at the dog like he knows. He knows something. Because he's already been licked by the dog of evil. Dog is sus. Look at it. Oh, so good. So good. I love how this film just goes. We're taking a hard left turn. Here we go. Look at it. Oh. This, I don't know what it is about. Ugh. This is that effect of all the fucking strawberry laces just coming out of it.
I don't know what the hell's in there. It's weird and pissed off.
That's such
Benny, go get Charles.
It's weird and pissed off. It's a nice touch that McCready asks for the flamethrower because he knows that's what the other site did. It's like an instinctual thing. Look at it! Look at this thing! So gross! Why would you I mean, I get you're in shock, but you gotta... Yeah, there you go. Like, the moment I'd see that thing, I had a flamethrower in my hand. Bye! I'm not standing and waiting. Look at it! Look at that hat! I want one. I want one of those hats. As someone who likes films that can be ambiguous and subtle and weird and all that kind of stuff, I do kind of have to love how this film is just... Nope. This is what it is. There's a spaceship. Thing crawls out of it. But this whole concept, I remember when I was a kid and my dad would constantly tease me that he was going to put this film on. and this was when I was about 6 or 7, and I kind of knew what the premise was because he told me, and I freaked out every single time he threatened to put it on the TV. And then I eventually watched it when I was a bit older, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Funny how you change as you grow up. I love how McCready is such a reluctant protagonist in this. Like, he knows he's the only one that's probably got a level head, and he just doesn't want to accept what's going on, but he knows he probably doesn't really have a choice. That scream is so gross, unnerving, kind of reminiscent of Body Snatchers, probably on purpose.
If it had more time to finish, it would have looked and sounded and acted just like Bennings.
I don't know what you're saying.
I mean, it's exactly what you said, dude. McCready's like the best protagonist because he is what every audience member thinks they would do, right? Like, every audience member who watches films like this, they're like, well, I would do that. Which is what makes him so instantly likable. Even though, in most cases, most of us would probably fucking frazzle and be like, I don't know what to do. There's such an interesting character in this film because, again, spoilers for those who haven't seen the film. We do know that he gets infected at some point, and there's so many points at which that could happen, but we just don't know when. And that's what goes for a lot of this film. I think it sows enough seeds that you can go, oh, I can see that there was a point where this person or that person could be infected or whatever. But it leaves just enough mystery for you to doubt whether or not they are or not.
Come on, man. You don't want to hurt anybody.
That delivery. I'll kill you.
I said watch Clark. And watch him close. Do you hear me?
We'll swing back to this in a moment, but it's interesting that he points out Clark. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we get there.
Who else could have used that key?
Nobody. I just give it to Copper whenever he needs it.
Could anybody have gotten it from you, Doc? I don't see how. As soon as I'm finished, I return it right away. Great.
When was the last time you used it?
Huh?
I love sowing the seeds of mistrust in this film is so good. It's so expertly done. People always talk about that this film is only about the effects, and they are incredible effects, but I don't think people celebrate the fact that it's so well done, how the whole mistrust is sown throughout the whole film. It's so well done. Like, you're completely on board that you're like, I don't know who I can trust. There's people I'd like to trust, but I don't know if I actually can. Which is, again, makes the whole thing with the seeing the spaceship, whether this thing is an alien or not, doesn't really matter. The point of the film is we don't know who's human and who isn't.
Somebody else was in charge. Norris, I can't see anybody objecting to you.
He's just like, nope.
I'm sorry, fellas, but I'm not up to it.
But I'm fairly sure, again, spoilers, I'm fairly sure that guy who just denied leadership is already turned. Like, I'm pretty sure that's who the dog saw. So is that just a big brain play by the creature to, I don't want all eyes on me? These tapes you could find in the PS2 video game called The Thing, that it was a sequel to the movie. I played it. Because of course I did. Love how he's...
RJ McCready.
You can see he's so desperately trying to hold everything together in his own head. You can slightly see him wavering there when he's on his own, which is just Kurt Russell being great as always. So
I'm not gonna harm anybody, and there's nothing wrong
like,
with
how
it.
could you?
And if there was, I'm all better now.
I'm all better now.
I'd like to come back and I'm all right. I'm much
Like,
better,
how
and I won't harm you.
untrustworthy
You gotta let
was
me
that?
come back inside.
What I found really interesting is whether the imitations realise that they're imitations or not. It's not ever something that really comes up in the film or not. But it's an interesting little thing I've often thought about. This bit always creeped me out though. Like the fact that I always thought, like, if that was MacReady trying to open the door, he'd be making more of a fuss. So I was sort of shuddered at the thought that it's someone, something else trying to get in through the door. Yeah, he ain't playing. He's not playing around with you guys.
Come on, child. Burn me.
Do it. There you. Now, naturally, back when I was in college, we were studying horror movies, and we were studying how to effectively do like a jump scare or whatever. So me being me, I pulled up this scene to show to the class, and a lot of people in that class had never seen this film before. So you can imagine the reaction this scene got. Everything in this scene is good. The effect, this bit, it's so good. That's so good. So I believe they got a real amputee for that quick shot of him thriving to really sell it. Obviously, they did up his arms in effect. Oh, look at it. Oh, it's so good. Oh, nice. It's so good. So good, though. You know when it's so gross, but it's so good you can't take your eyes off of it. You're just like... Look at that. That looks like that man's head. Hello? I'm just a spider head. People who hate spiders must loved this. Loved it. There he goes. This face. Oh, it's so good.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Such a good reaction. I like this. Just a little hint of a dark humor there.
Then kill me.
Don't try it. Look at this man. He will absolutely do it. Why would you tempt fate? Now, if you watched my It Follows reaction, that's also on the channel. I swear to God, this video isn't just a way of promoting my other videos. But if you have watched it, you would have seen that there was a jump scare in there that I purposely said that was a shit jump scare and it didn't deserve it. Because it's just obvious. Like, it just zooms in on where the jump scare is going to happen. What they do in this scene is so good. I'm going to try and talk through it as it happens. Spoilers, there's a jump scare coming, by the way. So how they set this jump scare up. Just pay attention to how Kurt Russell has his hands and how he's holding the props. So, first thing first, we set up how he's administrating this test on the blood with the hot needle. And that's a good reaction shot from him. So we see a negative, which we need to see, which we'll see momentarily. Boom. So now we all know what a negative test should look like. That's step one to setting up the scare. I will talk through what they did here, and maybe you noticed this before, and I'm imagining if you're a fan of this film, you already know all this shit. I think it's worth pointing out. Like, it's just a nice little trick that they do in the film to set this whole thing up. So here, this shot here, where he's testing Clark's, you see him holding the petri dish in his hand there, so you get used to how that shot looks. So in this shot, his hand throughout this whole thing, when he's holding both the first petri dish and this one, is a fake hand. That hand is fake, and we've already gotten used to it because of the previous shot. So there it is. So that fake hand that has obviously a thing in it that pumps up the thing and makes the shit shoot out of the petri dish. It's so well set up, that whole jump scare, where it gets you used to what you're looking at, and that is terrifying. Oh, Windows, don't Yeah, nothing goes well for Windows. Yeah, it's his comeuppance for having the worst luck on the planet. Oh, this is the only shot that looks kind of ridiculous in the film. This fucking dummy. Again, there's a kind of a dark humour to this whole scene where you've got these guys tied up to the couch as this fucking monster is just raging. And it's just straight up let a dude on fire. Straight up. In this heavy costuming and as well as... Ugh. That's a stunt and a half, man. He's on fire for a long time as well. Jeez. There you go. They're all good. They're all good. This guy's been waiting to have his rant. Here it comes.
Been through a lot. And when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch.
So good. He finally got his outlet. He's been waiting to have that outlet the whole film. This is what I love about that scene earlier where I was saying where the door handle moving when MacReady was outside. I always got the sense that it was someone else, not MacReady, trying to open the door. So I don't think MacReady would try the front door straight away. I think he would have, because he's smart enough to know that if the other guy got there first, none of them's going to trust him, so he'd just get fucking blown away the moment he stepped through the door. So I always sort of felt it was someone else out there. Probably Blair. See, and the door was open from the outside, so just a nice little creepy touch. This whole moment here is mad. Like, he was out here building a spaceship. Peekaboo! Oh, this effect is so good as well. Oh, nasty. Nasty. It's such a subtle effect, but it's like, ugh. Ugh. The actor really sells it as well. Oh, you just saw that. Well, no, this is the one silly moment in this film. He's like, he just saw a man get dragged by his extended face. Would you walk in to have a look? Pretty good stop motion coming up. I'm always really impressed by stop motion that's integrated into live action in some way. I love it when the thing is like completely lost control of what it's trying to morph into because it's like agitated and it's trying to stop something from hurting it. There's the peak Kurt Russell line coming up right now. There it is. So good. Okay, so coming to the end of the film here, and I said I was going to talk about a theory that I've always held about this film that I've never heard anyone else talk about. So my exclusive theory that only I ever come up with. So everyone remembers what happened at the start of the film with the PC chess wizard, okay? Just keep that in mind as this scene plays out. Now everyone pay attention. Pay attention to what happens here. And the music cue. There's a music cue as well, if everyone's paying attention. And then all he can do is laugh. Because he knows what's really happened here. There we go. That is John Carpenter's The Thing, and I'm going to talk about that theory of mine. And I can't believe I've never heard anyone else talk about it. So, please, tell me if you've thought about this theory that we'll talk about momentarily. Alright everybody, that was John Carpenter's The Thing. I will remove my headphones, because that's a smart thing to do. Yeah, that was John Carpenter's The Thing. I love this film, so get strapped in for another episode of John Carpenter is the best over here at IndieGeekGuy. Where do I start? Where do I start with this? So, you know what? I won't keep you on tenterhooks here, although if you were paying attention, like I said to do, you probably picked up on what my theory was here. So, the big discussion point in this film is Charles human or not at the end of the film? Like, is he an alien? Is he the Thing? what's going on? That's the big lingering question, and everyone's got their own idea about what's going on there, right? To explain my theory, at the top of the film, you notice MacReady is playing chess with a computer, and the moment that he calls the computer out for cheating, he pours his whiskey into the computer. At the end of the film, a child walks in, just as he thinks he's dealt the killing blow to the creature, walks in, says, "Hey, I'm here," and then all MacReady can do is what? Give him whiskey. So I can't believe I've never seen anyone else bring this up before. So that's just my take on the whole thing, is that obviously this whole film is basically a chess match between MacReady and this creature, and they're constantly moving the pawns and the pieces of the other characters in the film until you get to the end of the film where MacReady thinks he's got that checkmate. He's got it locked down. He's killed the monster just like he did with PC Chess Wizard. Walks in child and he's just like, "You cheating bitch," hands him the drink. That's my take on this film. And I can't believe I've not heard anyone else have that idea about the film. At least no one I've heard to anyway. But if you've picked up on that, please let me know down below, because I don't want to be the weird one who seemingly is the only one who's ever thought of that. But other than that, other than my groundbreaking theory about the ending of the film, there's only good things to say about this. I think the two negatives I really take from this film, I mean, it's been a couple of years since I've seen it, but so they stand out a little bit more from the distance, is that dummy shot of windows being waved around all over the place is probably the most far-fetched the effects go, and it's like, that doesn't look real at all. And yes, some of the matte painting stuff, I said in the reaction I like it because I like matte paintings, but to someone who's not versed in that kind of filmmaking, probably looks a bit ropey, but I think it looks fine. And the other criticism that other people bring up a lot about this film is that they don't feel the individual characters are fleshed out enough. Like they think that some of the characters here are just red shirts to either be assimilated, killed off, whatever. I kind of disagree with that, because I feel, and I think this is a mixture of the actors doing their jobs and probably John Carpenter as well, all the characters feel distinct enough from one another. So although you might not remember everyone's name, if you see them on screen, you can instantly go, okay, this person I feel like I can trust more than that person, which is important in this film because the whole setup is really, who can I trust, who can't I trust? And I feel like that's something, whenever anyone criticizes, I don't think the characters are fleshed out enough, I think they undercut how impressive it is that at a glance, you look at any one of those characters, you're like, I'm on your side, I'm not on your side, I don't trust you. Especially if you're coming into the film for the first time, seeing it for the first time. Obviously, I've seen this film many times, so I know sort of how it goes. I know who's infected, who isn't, and all that stuff. I even remember when I saw this for the first time, I instantly knew which characters I sort of drew closer to because I felt I could trust them over them, all that stuff. So I feel like that's a kind of a harsh criticism, and that most people say this film's only good for its effects. I think that's washing over so much of the good stuff in this film. The effects are amazing. I'd be amiss to not bring up how incredible the effects in this movie are. Like, they are so good. Like, they are so much better than a lot of CGI. And I'm not a anti-CGI person. I think it absolutely has its place in filmmaking, and it's a tool that can allow movies to go to places that they otherwise couldn't. However, if there's something physically on screen that looks as good as it does in this, you buy it so much quicker. Like because it's something physically there that an actor is physically reacting to. So it just, if you can sell it with a practical effect, I kind of am in that camp of try and do it that way if you can, because an audience will buy it so much quicker and be like, oh, there's something in shot, I can see it, I'm still invested in what is going on in this story. But just like CGI, there is a penny flip, and it could just, like I say, the ragdoll in the film, that's a moment where a practical effect doesn't quite work the way that it should, and sort of takes you out of it for a moment. Thankfully, it's only that small little, like 5 second, if that, moment in this film. Kurt Russell, I mean, we saw in Big Trouble in Little China. He's incredible in that. He's equally as incredible in this. There's so much nuance again to what he's doing. reluctant protagonist, reluctant leader of this group. Like I said in the reaction, if it's in the cut, there's so many moments where he makes a choice which he really doesn't want to have to make, but he understands it's the only one he can. And again, it's just small little movements in his face where you get that hint of how much he doesn't want things to go the way that they're going. And again, for all the other actors, there's some great stuff where they just, you can see it in their faces that they know exactly what's going on, but they just do not want to accept it. They do not want to accept what they're seeing. And poor Windows, poor Windows, just completely out of his depth. But some great performances all around. But Kurt Russell, again, you can see why he became the star that he did, because he's so empathetic in all his roles, even the more ridiculous ones, like even some of his more upper, bigger roles, and weirder roles. There's always an element of empathy in there, so you can attach yourself to his character no matter what he's doing. As for John Carpenter and John Carpenter movies, I do feel like The Thing is John Carpenter really firing on all cylinders. Now, I said this earlier on in the movie, if it's in the cut, this is a remake. It's a remake of a film that I know John Carpenter is a massive fan of and loves it. So that is probably why he's firing on all cylinders. Like, he wants to do that original film justice because he loves it so much. I think it plays in Halloween. You see it on the TV in the back. So he's trying to do his own version of the movie without ruining the legacy of the original. And you can really see that he's passionate about making this film work. But yeah, I feel like this is probably his most well-rounded film that he's ever made. Like, there are other films of his I love pretty much every film that I've seen that he's done, especially in the 80s, and obviously Halloween's the late 70s. But you can tell he's a master craftsman of what he does, and this is probably the pinnacle of his work. Like, everything works so seamlessly. The way the pacing is done is just pitch perfect. It just amps up bit by bit by bit, and then just gets you ready for that hard left turn and just swings into it with confidence. Like, it knows it's done enough to set up that moment, and when it happens, it just works so incredibly well, especially if you've not seen this for the first time. I feel like that. I remember when I saw that for the first time, and I was like, this is insane. I can't believe what I'm seeing. And it's great seeing other people discover it now on YouTube and through reactions and stuff. The Thing is a movie that I often find other people reacting to and love seeing, because there's so much good first time moments in there. I'm slightly worried that this video might not be as appealing as those other videos, but I wanted to cover this movie. It's one of my favourites of all time, so I wanted to cover it on the channel in some form and talk about it. So that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. And on top of all of the great stuff in this film, there's also the score. The score is so good, and I believe they recorded so much more music. The guy who did all like the music for the old spaghetti westerns, which is a really interesting choice to get him to do the music for this, even though they really didn't use a lot of it, because I think John Carpenter came in and sort of retooled it and sort of did his own thing with it, and the only music they end up really using as the main theme. I think a lot of the rest of the soundtrack ended up getting used in The Hateful Eight for Quentin Tarantino, because yeah, why not, basically. But that main theme, I think it was kind of a smart choice to let this film breathe as much as possible and just leak the music in where it just needed. Like I say, at the end of the movie, where the score just kicks in at the perfect moment where he drinks the whiskey. It's just expertly put into the film, and it just sets the tone brilliantly. Now, you might be thinking, I'm very tempted to give this movie 10 out of 10, but I saved 10 out of 10 for films that sort of emotionally impact me in a way that very few things kind of do, and like bring me to tears. Like, movies often don't bring me to tears, so I can't give this a 10 out of 10, unfortunately. Even though I do think it's a damn near perfect film. There's very little wrong with it. Just those couple of little things, like the dummy effect doesn't quite hold up as much as it probably did at the time. I don't know if it worked at the time, obviously I wasn't alive. But as far as like perfect filmmaking goes on all levels, acting, effects, music, directing, camera work, this comes as close as you're probably gonna get. So that is why I'm giving John Carpenter's The Thing a 9.8 out of 10. This is like top tier stuff. And just to explain how I've been ranking things, it's obviously all very personal to me and my own biases. 5 is like a dead on average. So if I ever give a film 5, that's good, basically. Like, it's a film I would watch again if I give something 5. If I go anything above that, like, you're doing way more than what, you know, I'm expecting you to do. So to give something like a 9.8, you know, you can do that maths yourselves, I'm sure. But yeah, solid. This movie is in my top 5 films of all time. It's so good. It's often finds its way to my number 1 spot, but you know how it is. Your top 5s always sort of mix around in whatever mood you tend to be in, but John Carpenter's The Thing is always in there no matter what. So yeah, I have my biases, you can tell. John Carpenter bias all the way. I look forward to covering more of his films in the future on this channel. There's some I'm not as familiar with, so there'll be much more reactionary, if you like. But I just really wanted to get this one done and put in the books, as it were. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of reaction review commentary sort of thing that I've put together here. But yeah, that was John Carpenter's The Thing. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up button so it lets me know that you enjoyed it. Even more so, if you want to let me know in the comments down below, go down there, type something up, tell me what you like, tell me what you think about the film, what your theories are about the beginning, the end, everything in between. Let me know. Comment down there. And if you didn't like this video, again, please let me know what you didn't like about the video. Let me know down there. We'll, hash it out, talk about it, see how I can improve. That's something I'm always aiming to do. But if you really enjoyed the content here, please hit that subscribe button so then you won't miss any future content. That's always a good thing. You know you want to, it makes sense. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.